I think that is everything that is good. Alright. Let me just get this set up in full screen, because apparently Windows wants to make my life difficult. And hi! Welcome in to everyone who's viewing offline. Today we are going to be continuing our work on illustrating this downtown scene for When It Rains. Currently, what we have left to do is coloring the buildings, adding details. Hello, string. And we need to add some crack details in the sidewalk. The plants, definitely need to add those. And of course, we can't forget about the people. We need to color in the people. We need to draw them in. We currently do not have people in our drawing, which it's needed. They're necessary. We need to add them in. So I hope your day is going well, string. Mine's been pretty darn decent. I worked on Being Small World today. I'll need to sign a document later, but other than that, it's been pretty chill. Oh, I also worked on a painting. You guys will be able to see that later. Me looking for the pen as if it's not in the space it's supposed to be. Alright. Let's get started. First things first, I need to pull up the layers and turn off some of the fun effects that I have going on right now, because as fun as they are to see the illustration and more completed, it is going to make color picking difficult. Yeah, alright. Nope, that's not what I want. There we go. That little mark was bugging me so much last week, because it felt like I could not find the layer that I was actually on, so then I was just over here struggling. Hi! Welcome back! Hopefully your week has been going well. I have a touch bit of a sickness of sorts. Not sure what kind. Slight cold, seasonal change, I'm not sure. It hasn't been too bad though, mostly just some congestion. A fever the first day or so that I was pretty easy to manage. Overall, not very bad. Just a little bit of an annoying thing to start the week with. We are so close to finishing this illustration though. I can feel it. I want to finish it today. Hopefully we can finish it today. That is the plan. We'll see if plans, stick with it. But I think it's good to start with the intentions of completing. At least just have it as a consideration. Yep, it's that time of year. Brother is sick. I'm starting to get the sniffles. It's not that I'm like super annoyed that I got sick. I'm just annoyed that I got sick again. Because when I first moved houses, I got sick. And then it's only been a couple weeks afterwards and I've gotten sick again. Though, I work with children a lot, so that would probably explain why I caught another sickness. The ick. So soon. They're just a petri dish of disease. They just have a lot of stuff that they cycle through, I think. start my year with the flu. Ooh, that's not fun. That was the other thing that annoyed me. I had gotten sick with I think it was the flu, maybe. It was a little bit more intense than my usual sicknesses. This is pretty mild. But I think I had gotten the flu. So that's also what annoyed me, is I've been sick 3 times in the past couple of months, and I was like, but no, come on, please. We don't have to do this. We could just not. It's an option. I am attributing it to the lack of vitamin D, though. That's what I'm thinking. I interact with the children, but I don't get my vitamin D, so then I don't. The stream I got to watch was so lovely and wonderful. It was nice to just chat for a few hours, and I'd love to again tonight, but it's getting late. Too late too in Ireland. Aw. That's not fun. Well, feel free to hang out for as long as you want, but I understand if it's just a bit too late. I wish I could stream on the weekends so that it was a bit easier for everyone to make it, but streaming on the weekends caused me to be so inconsistent with my streams that it just wasn't worth me not being able to do it. The drawing and illustration is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Thank you! I appreciate it. I am really enjoying how this one is turning out. It'll be nice to make a new print of this. It's not that the other one was bad, just some small things that looking at it was like, but I want it to be different. Ice cream shop. I need to include the ice cream shop. It's a major setting. It's a major setting in this world. I need to have it included. Very tasty indeed. Looking to make these more of like a bright yellow color, though none of the trees in the nearby area have bright colored leaves, yellow leaves, but that's okay. Get there one day. Gosh, this town is just so cozy and peaceful to walk around and live in. I really hope you can tell your story in it. Me too. And I can't get too many details, but I have the opportunity of helping someone else flesh out a city scene. So really, it's just a step in the right direction. Someone else gets their city scene ideas fleshed out. I get to practice drawing city scenes. Continuing. Yeah, it's gonna be great. My background work has certainly evolved since my freshman year of college, because I remember back in college we had to pick a specific thing for us to focus on in our sketchbooks, and I figured, well, I should probably improve my background work, because drawing people, that's great. However, those people need to exist somewhere. If I don't have them exist somewhere, we might be in a bit of trouble. So I deliberately started working on it, and it wasn't something that I got better at so quickly. It was something I had to work at for a longer period of time. Yeah, it would just be a case of me picking out some cityscapes every once in a while, drawing the buildings, drawing the atmosphere, doing some in real life drawing. I think that was the easiest way to go about it, honestly, was just slowly over time practicing drawing the exteriors of things, interiors too, but practicing it, but not being so concerned about getting it right at the start, giving myself time to get better at it. Because I knew that even with just a couple pieces of deliberate practice, things would improve. Your drawing style is just so pleasing, and I love all the little details in your style. It has so much life and character with all the ivy, the bushes, the fluffiness of the leaves, the road cracks, etc. Thank you! There was one day when I was looking at my artwork, and I just couldn't figure out what it was. There was something about the work that just wasn't speaking to me anymore. It's like, objectively, the drawing's fine, it's just, there's something missing. And then I realized it was the lighting. I practiced getting into the lighting, and then I realized what made a background good wasn't necessarily that all of the lines were perfect, it was the fact that there were so many tiny details for you to dig into. So while I'm trying to keep the lines somewhat neat, I'm also trying to consider small details that make the piece. If you can focus on making the piece nice, on the small details, then it's like dancing. You gotta put your all into it, no matter what skill level you're at. And someone will appreciate it because you just put so much effort into it. Funny how I joined the streams to say as much I would love to say feasibly from a health perspective, perhaps I shouldn't yet immediately begin yapping as much as I appreciate it, though, really, yeah. What time is it for Ireland right now? It has to be like at least 12 a.m., if not 1. Just have to like make a every once in a while I stream on Saturday kind of stream so that you can watch without fear of having to stay up super late. And feel free to like watch offline too. I will, if you have like any questions for me, you can just comment them in the comment section and I will definitely see it and answer for you. So you don't necessarily have to stay if you have specific things you want to say. I'm usually pretty good about reading all of my comments, even if I don't reply to all of them. Light and shadow is one of the things that can really bring life to a world. It allows you to connect with the time, the weather, the atmosphere of the world. It's one of the elements that allow human connection to a natural world in the sense. Yeah, I agree. I think that was partly why I was having a hard time connecting with my pieces before back in high school, was when I was looking at it, there was stuff missing. And then adding lighting just breathed life into the piece. I didn't realize that it was the missing piece. So. Yeah, it's kind of funny too how you can look at things in different mediums and not necessarily think about the piece or how your artwork is going to improve from that, but just by doing something not specifically with your practice, I think it's so fun that your practice can still improve. Like, if you're trying to get better at doing figures, sculpting human heads and bodies and whatnot from some sort of clay, like even Play-Doh, you'd be surprised how much that can help things click. Allows you to better visualize the shapes that make up the human body when you have to physically make the shapes in person. What gets some people hung up when they're working on something is when they think about lines, like what lines people make rather than what shapes. Which isn't necessarily the right way to go about it, because there's no lines in nature. The only lines that are made are the ones made by humans. I do forget it's possible to comment on YouTube live streams, as I rarely watch any on here other than the ones you and Bayleaf, another Hermit Life series artist, if you don't know them really. That's a really good idea, actually. I should try that. I've been working with clay a lot recently. Yeah. Either find yourself a picture model or something physical. It doesn't even have to be a human figure, but you can try and recreate some sort of object on your desk using clay. It's good practice. I recently got a mannequin to keep on my desk that I can post help me draw different poses in to make the proportions better. For the most part, mannequins can definitely at least help you visualize the pose, but I have found they are limited in the poses that you can make just because of how stiff the figures are. So it's a good start, but I would definitely make sure to continue doing life drawings or finding other things to practice with drawing, because sometimes the figures just get to you a little bit. But honestly, I think it's a necessity that all artists must own. You have a pencil, you have an endless stash of crayons somewhere, and you have a little figurine that you have on your desk. If nothing else, you can make a little outfit for him. I certainly did that with mine. I don't know if you've scrolled through my channel, I think you can get the barest sense that I at least enjoy sewing. That I like making little outfits for my stuffed animals. Or at least I did when I was younger. I like to make stuffed animals have little outfits. And then I did so for a D&D character that I was recreating with a Barbie doll. Essentially, I bought a Barbie doll and then removed the paint and painted my own figurine. I've been really wanting to draw or paint based centered more in exploring femininity or female bodies, but I'm scared that it might be seen as sexual. That's definitely a tough one, just because people can be so weird about how you approach your art. But the fun thing is, you don't necessarily have to show them. You can explore it if you want, put it in a box if you don't want it to be out, crush it if you're not happy with how it turned out, especially if it's clay, and try again. And I think for most people, at least if you talk with them about your process with it, at least I would hope so, that they wouldn't consider it to be something odd. But if you're already known as the art kid, per se, you'd be surprised how much stuff you can get away with. Like, staring at people in public suddenly is a lot more socially acceptable when you have a sketchbook and pencil in your hands. Someone asks, why are you staring at me? Oh, you have a great face. A really great face. I need it for my sketchbook. Like, also, granted, this might be a little thing that's unique to me just because I like showing people my artwork in public to the point where I will draw someone and then go, yeah, cool, I drew this person in public. Now I'm gonna go walk up to them and show them. I don't think I've had one person be weirded out by me doing that. But I do know that if you were to take a photo of a person in public, and very much so if it was like with an iPhone camera, you'd definitely get a lot more weird looks than if you were to draw them. It's springtime, so you know what that means, allergies. Yeah. I don't know if I specifically have allergies. Yeah, I hope not. That would be kinda better, but also kinda worse than having just a random sickness. But I did take a Zyrtec yesterday just to see if I could clear up some of the congestion. And that didn't, like, entirely fix my problems, so I'm thinking it's an actual sickness and not. It helps with congestion, but at least I knew it was some sort of sickness and not allergies. Man, that would be cool and a nice excuse. Too bad I'm also cycling / band kid in high school. I was also the cycling / band kid in high school. Are you talking about you have too many identities, so it's hard to be seen as just the art kid and get away with a lot of art kid stuff? Is that your problem? I say art kid in the sense of just like you're drawing, you're doing things, you're actively looking like you're engaged in something that seems deeper than just what other people's concerns for you staring at them may be. I think that's mostly the issue in public, is that people have no idea what it is that you're doing. So if you're just staring at them, because maybe you don't have your sketchbook at the time, so then you're just kind of looking, because you like how their face looks, and you want to capture it later. I think people like having an easy reason that they can see for why you're doing something that's easy to explain. So, if you're staring at them, but then also drawing, well, obviously you're being drawn, and isn't that so flattering? At least that's how I look at it. Just a nice, easy, neat explanation that people can wrap their heads around, and that's why they find it less weird than just a person without a sketchbook. I've always been too scared / anxious about sketching people in public, in case they don't want that, because I'm too much of a perfectionist, and people are dynamic and move around a lot, so it's harder. Yeah, It was definitely much easier after I took my figure study class, because my teacher had us practice doing 30-second gesture drawings. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. When I first did that, I panic. In fact, that was actually the first. So, picture this. Baby Alyssa. Like, fresh out of, it's like almost fresh out of high school year. It's like my sophomore year of college. This is my first figure drawing class. And you want to guess what my figure drawing teacher does? He's like, all right, so today we're going to be working on gesture drawings. We have a lovely model here today, and she's going to do it. All right, and you're going to get started right now. Model who's in the center just drops her robe like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you have no time to panic. There's no time to panic when there's 30 seconds on the clock and you need to capture her. I think he did that on purpose to, get over the nerve of staring at someone who's naked. But it was certainly a way to go about it. Suffice to say, I also had a gesture drawing project where I had to draw 700? It was either 700 or 600 gesture drawings. So suffice to say, I got pretty good at those, which makes drawing people in public much easier. The trick with capturing people in public is to capture their base pose, and then as they move around, you can add details to the pose you already drew, but instead of taking direct reference where you're drawing completely from life with a still model, then you're just trying to catch a glance at their arm to see how their arm specifically looks. This requires a bit of knowledge of human anatomy too, because if you know how an arm generally looks on a person, then you just need the knowledge of how that specific arm looks on the person and how it differs from the very average that you have in your head. So then you're able to draw it quicker because you already have a base idea of where it's gonna go, and you just need a little extra information from them. That's how I work about it anyway. Other people may have different methods. Most of the time, it's not about their face, it's more about their outfit. I need their outfit in my sketchbook now. Oh, yes, definitely. Some people just have really cool looks. Yeah, I think so. And also, people find it to be stalker behavior, I'm just saying. Or that's what it seems to be perceived. Yeah, I think there's more of a concern about how you are perceived nowadays than there has been in the past. At least what I'm assuming. I also have the privilege of being a very short person, so then when people see me, and they see me doing things that are slightly out of the norm, I think that's also a reason why it's more acceptable, because one, I'm doing something they can clearly see, and two, I'm small and female, so then it's less likely that I'm gonna do something heinous with whatever information I'm gathering from them. That's what I'm assuming is the thought process, just because I've had no issues and no bad feedback from drawing people. I know for some other people, they might have a different experience with that. I should try doing more sketches and gesture drawings, more of people. It's an area I'm not very familiar with, so I may try it in doing general poses and lighting, indicating of outfits, but avoiding the face. Yes, you can definitely do that. There's a website called Line of Action that can give you different pictures of different models that will either be just the face, the body, just the hands and feet, all of those sorts of things, and you can set it on a specific timer so that if you want to practice gesture drawings, on a timer, like you can set it for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you can add a custom time in. I find it's really good because then you can just sit down with a task in mind of how you want to approach your drawing session and not get distracted by all the various photos that are on Pinterest. Pinterest can be so distracting sometimes. Yeah, I think I share that same experience with being rather short, not just in art areas, but others too. Yeah, I think I do get a lot of leeway from people in terms of just because I'm short. An advantage of being short. People assume you're younger and don't know better. People actively think I'm like 15. I'm like, no, I'm 24. It's really funny that you think that, but I'm 24. I'm not 15. Oh, I don't know if this was a case of they were just like, okay, so back in college, I didn't have my car for the first portion, like the first 2 years. Was it first year or second year? I think it was first year. So freshman year, the only times I ever really got out of my apartment, because this was during COVID times, was when I was going grocery shopping, and I was still figuring out the bus system, because up until recently, the only buses that I've ridden on were the ones that were specifically dedicated towards the school. So I was still trying to figure out, how the heck do I navigate this bus system? And I had gotten on a bus, and it was kind of the right bus, but also not. I was in Milwaukee, so I was riding the 18, not the 15 that I needed. So the 18 and the 15 started kind of on the same route and then branched off in different directions. I realized I was on the wrong bus when I started going over a bridge that I wasn't supposed to be going over, and I was like, oh, okay, so I just need to get off here so I can cross over and get onto a new bus. Okay, that's fine. But I got off too early, so then I had to walk over to the next bus station to actually get to my connection point. And as I was going across to a different street, I came across this middle school, and I think they were somewhat in session. They had a cross guard, and as I was getting closer, they made sure to come over and help me cross the street. And I was wearing a pretty decently sized backpack because I just went grocery shopping, and I was using a school bag to carry all of my stuff. So then I just crossed the street and then continued walking past the school. And to this day, I wonder if they thought I was a student at the school, or it was just their job to make sure that everyone, no matter who it was crossing that street safely. It just felt so silly to me. I would like to learn to draw anatomy, muscles, tendons, and ligaments, bones, and skeletons. I do not practice much in drawing the bare body, especially of course, the private areas. So if I want to explore how I feel about my feminine body in society, I really should. Yeah. And you don't have to feel pressured to do it right away. But, granted, this is then something a bit more private for yourself, but you can always use yourself as model if you don't feel like braving the internet to find the references, though Line of Action does have both clothed and nude models. So if you need a good, safe website to find models that are both for your drawing pleasure, there is both. So I find it to be a really great resource in that aspect. I think they've been adding more poses over time too, so it's not always the same thing over and over. I guess it depends on how often you use the tool. If you use the tool too often, you might find that things are starting to get repetitive. But I guess in the practice of learning, repetitive isn't necessarily bad. It just might be a bit boring. I mean, at old school, crosswalk guards did it for everyone, but I'm not sure. They're great for kids, but sometimes they really just slow adults down. It didn't really slow me down at all. It was just like the sheer panic on their face when they realized that I was starting to cross the street and that they weren't there. So then they like rushed to make sure, and then they like guided me along, and they're like, "Come on, you can cross." I'm like, "Okay." It was just really silly. But it was not like the single case scenario where I've been assumed to be younger than I am. So it was just an additional experience that made me think they might have thought I was a student there, or just like my dad's realtor. She asked him if he was looking to stay within any school district, and he said no. I was like, yeah, I'm graduated. She's like, oh, you graduated from high school? I'm like, no, I graduated from college. Either or, it's a funny thought. At that point, I'll just knock it towards the crossing guard being nice. That's fair enough. I like thinking of it in the most silly aspect, but it could just genuinely be their job is to help people cross the street. And I looked enough. I was like confusing enough that they just assumed, yeah, she's wearing a backpack, she's crossing the street. I should just so it's my job, I'll help her cross the street. I've saved the website. Thanks so much. I'll be sure to give it a go. So happy that there's non-binary models on there too. Yeah, they've definitely been adding on. That would have been so awkward. I choose to think of it as the I genetically inherited my dad's baby face, and then I'm also gifted with just short genes. So then those two things mixed together just make it where people think I'm still in high school. A lot of the times, not the worst problem to have. And then I just need my ID if I want to go get drinks from somewhere. Maybe I need to go outside more often, and then hang out in a local area and see if some person out there decides to be a good Samaritan and tell me I need to go back to school. That would be funny. If you cannot tell, because the areas I'm coloring are really small at the moment, I am currently coloring in the dirt in the flower boxes. Oh, silly thing happened today. Or, well, not today. On Sunday. Me and my friend were gonna go swimming, but then, as my friend got there first and was like, "Hey, are they open today?" I was like, "Wait, are they not?" Turns out they weren't open that day, and I had completely missed it. So my poor friend had driven like, I don't know, 40 minutes out to go to this place to swim. So I ended up taking over to my house so she could get a house tour. But it was silly. It was just so silly. I was like so concerned about getting there on time, and then it turns out they weren't even open. We'll try again next week. It'll be fun. Unfortunately, my university ID has specific dates on it, so I can't use the IDs to get my way with things. It would be helpful, but I think they realized that. I wonder if they had a specific issue with alumni coming back to the college and making use of some of their resources. Though I think as an alumni, you're allowed to come in and use the resources of the school anyway. I think I have all of. No, I do not. I do not. I thought I had all the dirt cleared in. That was not the case. I am on the wrong layer. Well, I mean, I have my driver's license, so I don't need my college ID on me to necessarily keep track of that sort of thing, if that's what you're thinking. Or if you're thinking along the lines of, oh, you should be in school, but I graduated school. See, look. See, here. Here's my proof. So what I've been able to use the university ID for was I was able to get into the local art museum for free. Like, I had a membership automatically because of my student ID. So because the student ID is not in date, I would not be able to get any student discounts to any accepting areas because you can very clearly see the dates on the ID. I would have maybe been able to fudge some of it for at least a year or two to just say, oh yeah, I have not updated my ID yet. This is this one was the one I got in my freshman year or something like that. But as time goes on, there's only so much I can push. Yeah, not specific dates. It says like 2023 to 2024 on my most recent ID that I have for my college. But yeah, showing that to someone, be like, I should get a discount because I'm a student, and then they look at it and go, it's 2026. This is 2024. Are you a student anymore? Mm-hmm, definitely. Yeah, I think I could fudge it a little bit and just say the ID is old, but I'm still a student there, and they would probably take it. Like, my face would definitely help, but, like, as time goes on, it would become a little harder to convince people, hey. Though, I wonder if I could, like, Because some ID badges, sometimes they'll give you a sticker to cover things. I wonder if I could change the date via the sticker. It might not be worth it though. Student discounts are not that big. I was thinking along the lines of trolling. I've graduated already. But see, is it trolling if it's true? But at that point, you're lying rather than selectively choosing information. But see, most of the businesses that give out student discounts, is it lying, or is it just saving money amongst people who need to save money? I don't think people who have the most amount of money are going around considering what they could do to get a bit of a discount. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people who are just like, I will get a discount no matter how much money I make. But I think I'm close enough to my graduation year that most people just wouldn't care. Most people really don't care. That's the fun thing. Most people don't care. As long as you give a believable enough excuse, you could probably get away with a lot more things than you think you can. I'm giving great life advice right now. Like that 2023 was 3 years ago. I have too much I really should do and have been doing. Yeah, I know. Time feels like it's not, like, how crazy is it that we're closer to 2030 than we are to 2020? 2020 does not feel that long ago, and yet it's been 6 years since I, graduated high school. I've gone through college, and then I'm almost 2 years out of college. My sibling is graduating this year. Time moves. I don't I kind of like, but I don't like. It's a mixture of both. Time kind of has to move whether you like it or not, so I guess I kind of have to like it. Like Stockholm Syndrome into liking that time moves. Sorry, we can stop talking about it. You came here for cozy times, not for existential dread. Can be both. And my most notable quote from Gravity Falls specifically was born rich Mabel, she is cheating at life. Shrug. Exactly. You can't be doing nearly as bad as all of these darn billionaires. Hi, Crow. Don't worry about the fact that you're missing the entire existential conversation, which maybe is your desire. I think it's most people's desires, actually. Avoiding the existential conversations. There's some existential dread in these puddle portals somewhere. Oh, I thought of something. I'm just gonna add to the existential dread, but essentially, one of the things I want to add into the story is just having some notable figures in history, just be dotted in to say oh yeah, they're in here. But in order to do that, I had to fudge the timeline slightly. So this story's gonna take place in the 2030s, and I thought, oh yeah, that's far enough in the future. That's it's a bit in the future. It'll be odd, but I don't think it will be too different that I need to completely redesign outfits and trends. I think we should be okay as long as I'm not making it tied too specific to a time period, but depending on how long it takes for this story to get picked up, 2030 might, the 2030s may not be the future, it may be the present. Yeah, I have a theory that the brain likes to stack memories. So you aren't going to remember each individual time that you go on a drive to a specific place. They're just going to be grouped together as one stronger memory of, yeah, I've driven this route a lot of times, with maybe individual small bits of specific things that may have happened on a ride that was notable. Like, for example, oh, a deer almost hit me. That's pretty notable. You would remember that. But then you may not remember, oh, yeah, I drove down this road and most of the lights were green by the time I got there. That's great in the moment, and you'll probably remember that for, like, I don't know, a day, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks if it's, like, that notable. But past that, you'd probably start to forget it. It would probably just kind of get lumped in with all the other times you made the drive. So, my theory is the more unique individual experiences you give yourself in your life, the slower time will move for you. At least the slower time will be perceived, because you'll be doing new things. So then your brain will have new things to sort, and it will be a bit harder because it's not necessarily always going to the same place. Yeah, as kids, everything is new, so we're taking everything in. But as we get older, we see the same thing again and again. So the brain removes those monotonous memories. The way to combat this is introduce. Yeah, exactly that. We were having the same thought. I think it's pretty notable if a deer hit me. Honestly, I would hit the back and ponder if the deer hit me. I think that's a great bar story. I would say so. I mean, when a deer hit me, technically it hit my car. That was pretty rude. I remember that vividly. What? Man, why did you run into my car? I mean, it's like, on one hand, I can't blame them for not having all the reasoning skills they need, but then also, if you see a big flashy thing pass by at great speeds, are you trying to cross right now? That's not fun. I ended up having to call my friend afterwards, get her to distract me, because I needed to drive home. I didn't hit the deer that badly that I totaled my car, no, but I still needed to drive home, and it was dark, and I was like hyper aware of all that was around me. I was like, is there another deer? So I'm only lightly traumatized, I think. I'm very vigilant at night now when I'm driving, and I have every reason to be, because up until recently, the place that I was living, there was a consistent herd of deer that I could see that liked to cross the street at a specific point in time. Yeah, so I was able to very clearly see where they were and when they were coming in. Pretty rude indeed. Exactly. What, was the deer okay? No. So what happened was, at that point, I was in high school and I was swimming pretty consistently, not for a school team, just for myself. And I was doing it with my friend. Same friend that I was gonna go swimming with this past week, but then didn't end up doing. But, so I was coming back, and as I was slowing down to turn left, the deer, one deer crossed the street, and I was like, oh, okay. And I forgot the rule that they come in packs. They come in at least two. So if you see one, you need to slow down and see if there's another one. I was slowing down. Not enough, but I was slowing down. So I think I was going about 30 miles per hour when the next deer ran out in front of me, and clipped my bumper and did a flip. So it did not hit my windshield. That was good. And I didn't even have to call the cops about it, because there was one apparently just driving past me and saw the entire thing happen. So then I just pulled off to the side of the road and I was like, haha, adrenaline. Hi. Oh my goodness, it's hard to open and close my hands right now. And I climbed out the passenger side, not the driver's side, because I wasn't that pulled off the road, but like, yeah, that was a time. That was a time. Deer are both majestic and really stupid at the same time. Like, I had an experience when I was... Okay, so when I was little, there was like one summer that me and my sibling were just riding our bikes. We were practicing riding our bikes no-handed and getting better at getting on the bike and getting off the bike and whatnot. Different method of doing so. And one time I was doing it was a little bit later in the day. I think it was either just before dinner or after dinner. And I turned my head over to the side and I see a buck. So then I slow down and stop and we just stare at each other for a second until it turns around and leaps off so gracefully into the woods. And then you have other times when you're watching them walk and then they see something startling or they walk on something bad and they fumble like any other thing. And it's so hilarious watching any of their poise just disappear. It's kind of hard to view them as super majestic creatures after you've seen them have no processing skills. They're really bad at processing the danger in front of them, because their instinct is to freeze, which is normally good because that helps with camouflage. However, if a thing is barreling towards you, pausing to get a bearing of the situation does not help you, considering how fast the vehicle is going. Do you know if it survived? It did not. I watched the police officers each take two legs and take it off to the side of the road, so unfortunately it did not live, which I was sad about. I get it. So having lost so much of your natural, I I am impressed with them. As much as they are not the smartest creatures, they are resilient. I don't know if it's just due to how greatly they're able to breed and just exist, but they have persisted in the American suburbs, and I'll give them credit for that. They are very annoying though when you're trying to make a garden and they eat it. They're not very kind about how much they eat. They just kinda eat it all. That's the other thing. I'm trying to make a little vegetable garden, and they want to eat. And we both want to eat this thing, and they happen to wake up early in the morning than I do. Yeah, yeah. I don't think they'd be having the grandest time. Are they the smartest creatures? No, but they sure are dang persistent. Resilient, persistent. Either or. They're definitely persistent. And I know that they probably just eat so much of the general area because there's not a lot in the general area that they can eat. They're not supposed to live in the woods. despite what people think, they're supposed to be out in open fields where they can see things clearly. And because human activity has pushed them more towards the woods, they have less to eat, at least in the winter. It's a bit harder for them to find stuff in the winter, though. I think that's just in general. If our landscape was, at least in the United States, if we have less of a monoculture in our lawns, I'm getting back onto my lawn debate, if we had less of a monoculture, things would just generally be better for the local population. Though, I do think we'd have more car casualties with deer. But maybe that would encourage people to do more public infrastructure. It would be a little less traumatic to a personal individual if a deer hit a bus instead of a car. And since there's more people per bus, there's less likely of a chance of a deer hitting, at least as many. Summer's kind of sad. Yeah, I promised to stop talking about existential topics, and then we kind of continued on with the existential topics. Sometimes it's good, though, to talk about stuff that's not the happiest thing. It's where solutions to problems come in. Wildlife in Ireland are foxes, birds like wood pigeons, magpies, crows, robins, so we don't really get things like deer or raccoons being pests. At least in my area, that is. That's fair. That's fair. And see, I think it's endlessly interesting that foxes for you are what maybe raccoons are to us, where maybe they're not pests, but they certainly hang around. I don't think I've seen a fox in the wild before. I think I may have seen one in a zoo, but not in the wild. Raccoons are fun to see. I don't quite consider them pests. You just kind of need to know how they act, though they were so funny. Back at the old place, if you did not close the garage right away during the night, they would come in and eat our garbage. And that was really funny when they decided to leave, there was one time my sibling had forgotten to close the garage. So I closed it when I came in, and then I was just hanging out on the couch, and I hear a bang in the garage, and I'm like, there's a raccoon in the garage, isn't there? This is not the first time it's happened. So I go out into the garage, and I look, and oh my gosh, it was the tiniest little baby raccoon. Oh, he was so cute. He was so tiny. I had to get him out of the garage, but I felt so bad kicking him out. I hope whatever happened to him, I hope he found his mother, because he was that itty bitty. All the calls he was making were for his mother. Oh my goodness. Very tiny, very cute. There's also, like, a raccoon that decided it wanted to hang out my mom's van. Like, it just climbed up the underside and was sitting on top of the engine. We had, like, heard some scrabbling, and so we were, like, trying to look for it, and we could not find it. And I was like, you know what? It's probably in the car. And got a little bit of disbelief from that, but my dad slowly opened up the trunk, and there were two little eyes. It just drop it immediately, because we were not expecting the raccoon to be right there. saw a video one time where a guy was trying to sell a truck. The moment a possible buyer pulled up, a deer just came flying out of nowhere and jumped all over the guy's truck for no apparent reason. I would like to say that's AI, but knowing the idea of knowing how they work, I'm not surprised. I don't know what it is in their little heads, but they've got something going on in there. I've seen foxes and zoos in backyards. Ooh, very nice. Have you ever had a possum? Not specifically in my yard, but I've seen them before. Just crossing the road mostly. But they're very cute. I love possums. Do you think you'll be including much? Mostly suburban, I take nature or wildlife in winter rains. There's definitely going to be wildlife. One of the main concerns is there's going to be a little bit of a narrative about invasive species, because we're going to have animals coming in from the other side of other world, and then animals from our side crossing over to theirs. So there'll be a narrative of how invasive species take place, and how sometimes a lot of the times they're bad, but sometimes they can become naturalized. And naturalized is when they come into an environment, but they don't compete with any of the local creatures. They just fill in a niche that there's been a gap for. This can sometimes happen because of recent extinction in the area that had no cause from the species that came in. Like, I think in Florida, it might be a different state, but in a more southern tropical state, there are parrots that have been naturalized, because previously there was an American species of parrot that went extinct, and that was not the fault of the parrots that moved in, but since the new parrots moved in, they filled in the niche those other ones filled. This was before AI could make a video like that. Deer are strange. I believe it. Deer are really strange. Also, they just are horrifying at times too. Like, have you seen them stand? I don't like it. And then also there's like this really scary disease that some deer can catch on. It's like, what is it called specifically? It's a truly devastating and sad thing where it just takes over their brain. I forget the name for it, but it's something that if it were to be transferred to humans would be a big cause for concern due to how just debilitating to the mind it is. Prions? I think that's the thing that they attack prions. Oh yeah, the noises they make? No wonder Wendigos exist. Wendigos are the deer-based. That's a deer-based. Let me look it up real quick. Wendigos. Yeah. That's why Wendigos exist, because, oh boy. Nature can be scary. Cool, but also scary. Honest topics. When I have other people to converse with. It's really great. I really enjoy it when we get on topics like this, because then we can just discuss things that I do have opinions on, that I don't just think about on my own. I think it's really fun. Exactly, super terrifying. Though, I'm not really good at drawing horrifying art. It's like anything I draw tends to turn out cute. Oh. Did I mishear you, or did you say that the idea of ghost, or at least the sounds they believed in to make, is because of deer? Not specifically ghosts, but Wendigo are, I forget what folklore it's from, but essentially it's a creature that is based around deer. Native American, there we go. Yeah, it's just based around the idea of deer and how horrifying they can be, the noises they make, the eerie way they can exist in the woods. Yeah, I'm not I don't watch much horror either, mostly because I don't like jump scares all that much, and it seems like most people when they think of horror, they think, oh yeah, jump scares. Don't like those, but I do like more existential horror, if that makes sense, just like concepts of things and stuff that's just scary from the point of, oh my gosh, this happens, this is real, and or like just a morally eerie situation, rather than I'm trying to deliberately scare you from a cheap standpoint. Cheap scares. Near Appalachia. Makes sense. That's where a lot of deer like to live. I need... Excuse me. What color should the mums be? I'm thinking yellow just so they stand out. Like a golden yellow, slightly edging on orange. I think that works. Yes, that's the areas I'm more interested in when it comes to horror. Not jump scares or gore, but that which is eerie and longer ways. Cosmic horror, concepts and fears, like mycophobia, yeah. Or like, sometimes I'll get into just the dark topics that can just be read about, like just morally eerie situations of... I like when vampires are discussed, not in the superficial way, but like in the way I think they were originally approached, was like, this is just a really bizarre situation for a human to come from. I am finding all these bits of lines that I need to go in and erase. How great. Not just, it is, yeah, mine too. Mine is fun to explore. Like, I think I need to, what was it called? Midsummer Night's Dream? No. What was that one horror film? It was like, is it Midsummer? It might just be Midsummer, yeah. I think Midsummer kind of falls into that, where they get like pulled into a cult like situation. And it's horror in the sense of you just get a creeping sense of dread as the film continues and as things get weirder. Maybe that's one of the things I need to watch soon. I've been focusing a lot on The Pit recently. Add some purple flowers in here. You mean the Shakespeare play? Not the Shakespeare play. Not Midsummer Night Dream, just Midsummer. Horror movies feel so fake. Yeah. Yeah, they do. They almost become a comedy at that point, you know? There was one horror film that I watched in theaters called Nope, which was pretty good just from the standpoint that the main characters were actually pretty smart, and when like bad things happened or when like they were getting approached by something, their answer was just to look at it and go, nope, and try and leave in a sensible manner, which was pretty good. Yeah, my cousin is a slasher fan, but slashers to me make me sad, as it more ends negatively than positive. Slow burns are definitely my feel, but even then I'd rather watch some other film or show. Yeah. I think too many people go in it with the idea of they just want to make a scary movie and not what kind of story they're trying to tell with their scary movie, just that they want it to be scary. I type way too fast, hence tend to make an embarrassing amount of typos. I think it's because I fear losing the opportunity to cast my voice in the conversation and also get enthusiastic. Completely fair. I'm not expecting perfection in the typing. I just try and read it in a way that makes the most sense. Usually I'm pretty good at parsing out what a sentence says, even if there's a couple things that are missing. Oh, the Midsummer, I don't know too much about it because I haven't watched the movie yet, but essentially Midsummer is a horror film that released, I don't know, a number of years ago at this point. And it's about a couple that travels to Sweden, I think it is, and they come across this pagan cult, I think. And as they get more pulled in, the dread and the eeriness builds. That's as much as I know about it. And I think if I were to say anything more, even if I did know more about it, it would be lean into spoiler territory. Horror stories could never be as scary as the stories I write in my own head. Very true. Sometimes we make our own scary things because we know what we're most scared of. And sometimes situations that you run into in real life are scarier than the made up a serial killer's chasing you. Isn't that scary? Maybe. But you know what's even scarier? This deadline that I've been pushing back for so long, and yet it's finally come, and I can't push it back any longer. And oh my goodness, what happens if I miss that? Or something even more existential is the fear of being kidnapped and taken somewhere you don't want to be. Or in a realistic human trafficking situation, like a realistic human trafficking situation, rather than a I'm gonna kidnap you and take you to your basement kind of situation. Oh my goodness, there's cases of human trafficking that are absolutely horrific, and it's just like, it's a quiet sort of sad, where it's just small things that you wouldn't notice right away, and you can interact with the people too. They're not just hidden away in some basement, they're just not allowed to leave wherever they are. I've been meaning to watch I Saw the TV Glow for a while. I've heard it's not only a queer story, but also one that's very powerful and impactful. My sister loved the soundtrack and music in it. And yeah, more existential horror with some body horror too, which is just jump scares and gore without plot and message and theme. Exactly. And I don't even think this is the fault of there's a lack of good storytellers. I think it's just a lack of faith in these storytellers in the industry, because I think you've noticed it with a lot of other stories too. It's not just horror films that are getting a bad hand in terms of writing, but also just other films in the industry seem to be lacking a creative flair just because they're scared of stepping out of the box. Which is sad that they're more concerned about having a guaranteed hit than telling a story that they're truly passionate about. They're just trying to sell to the masses in a guaranteed way rather than telling a story that they think that they want to tell. I just don't get it. I think this is also a case of the budget in Hollywood has gotten ridiculous. It used to be you would have films that were very creatively produced on a very small budget, and thus were able to make back their money even if they didn't make a whole bunch of money in the box office itself. And that was considered a success. But then the idea of success moved, and no longer was having those small successes seen as good. You had to be a box office hit. You had to break all the numbers. And thus we lost all of the mid-value, the mid-range, lower budget productions that gave us some weird, interesting stories. I'm sure there's a couple being produced, but from what I've seen, there's a predominant fear of originality. All they want, yep. I think that's how it can be boiled down to with a lot of things. They want money, and they want the guarantee, so they go with the safe option. Craft Season 8 managed to tackle the same cosmic horror idea that Hollywood disaster film, and I watched a video about that recently. I think I've seen the video thumbnail that you're talking about. I need to go look at that one. But yeah, they did that storyline so well. Granted, they had a lot more levity in it than I think a cosmic horror would try to approach, but that's what fan fiction is for, because they gave such a great concept, and then with fan fiction you can essentially pull out all of the little traumatic bits that they added in and just ramp it up to 11. Which is ironic, because if they just had a passion in their project, that they'd be likely to get money, depending on what it is, of course. But still, exactly! There are so many small budget things that get a lot of attention, on YouTube or other platforms just because it's interesting and people love having interesting ideas. But because there's no guarantee, they're scared to approach it. Those darn shareholders, the proverbial shareholders, the collective shareholder group. Why? I ask one question. Why? But who am I? Just a person who has but little money. They're obviously doing something correct. Because how else would they get such copious amounts of cash? But I don't know. I fear they're missing the point. It's just big number getting big at this point. It's like, you could do something fun. That's also an option. Fun is nice. There's a difference in storytelling medium, videos from various creators' POVs, but that doesn't predetermine a better story/execution. Yeah. And having a little bit of levity never hurt a production. I just find it fun when people take the suffering and then ramp it up to 11. That's really fun to read. I like the boldness that people can get. Not that the execution of the Hermitcraft series was necessarily bad. I just like that they did such a great job with storytelling that they inspired thousands of other people to try their hand at it as well. I think that's the best kind of storytelling, when you inspire other people to do the same. There is a funny line where popular fan fiction exists and somewhat plot bunny filled story like shows exist. Like Harry Potter, there were so many plot holes with that people just pick up and ran with fan fiction. Same with a lot of bigger fandom stuff. It was just like, it was popular, which is good, because then you have a lot of people looking at it. But then also, because it's not like a perfectly written story, and so there's stuff that people are feeling unsatisfied with, then you have a cause for people to go in and try and write their own things. Like a really well-made story won't necessarily have a lot of fan fiction written for it, because they did such a good job telling it that people feel as if there's no unanswered stories. Not that there's impossibility to write fan fiction, just that more people are left satisfied, which means they're less likely to try and go in and add their own twist to things. Like Star Wars? Oh my goodness. What a great world building. Great world building. Story-wise? They're having fun. I'm sure that there's ideas explored by Minecraft creators that have been done more effectively in film than Minecraft. It's just very fun that Hermitcraft and Minecraft have the ability to do such. Exactly! I think it's a great medium to explore things. It's not too expensive. You can download some mods to have fun with lighting and perspective, and it's a great way to get into cinematography in a lower budget manner. Oh yeah, I greatly enjoy Star Wars, at least the fandom side of things. I like watching the original films too, but the fandom, oh boy, do they come up with great stuff. Hello, Padre. Mayhaps. My father opens up the door and he holds up a little bottle of popcorn. He's like, "Do you want some?" Yes, I want some popcorn. I may not be able to eat it right away, but yes, I would like some popcorn. Sometimes I think my dad would lure me downstairs with the promise of popcorn. He would just start cooking it, and I could smell it from upstairs, so that would draw me downstairs because popcorn's so good. Honestly, there's a lot of fandoms that I'm a part of, or at least have read in. Like, Marvel has some great stories in it. Star Wars. I did a little bit of reading in Miraculous Ladybug. That was fun. People had a lot of fun with that. The show itself was getting on my nerves, though. I can't with that show sometimes. Star Wars fandom creations. Have you ever seen, read things that you really liked from the fandom? Oh, so many things. That fandom, great thing about the Star Wars fandom is it's old. If you go onto AO3, you can find fics from the 1990s in there that have just been added in and retroactively been like backdated to when they were originally written. It's fantastic. I couldn't name a bunch off the top of my head at the moment, but I'm a sucker for good time travel stories, and Star Wars happens to have a lot of them. Like, some of my favorite stories are the time travel fix-it fics, where essentially character goes back with some prior knowledge and then tries to get at all of the things that went wrong. And oh boy, did so many things go wrong in the past that would make things so much easier. It's so satisfying watching them try and kill Palpatine for the 5th time. Oh, AO3 is not that old. It just has a backdating feature that allows you to post fics. Like, essentially, you can change the date of the fic back when you actually wrote it, not when you posted it. So the website, I want to say the website came into being around 2012, but I may be wrong. Let me look it up. AO3 launched in... I may be wrong. It might be a little bit earlier than that. The site was created in 2008 and went into open beta into 2009. So it's been around for a bit. The thing with time travel is that I don't think you could change anything because it's already happened, and my theory is that you would have just been the reason it happened the way it did. Those time travel stories are fun, but I like to think of it as a case of you jump backwards. You can jump backwards, but you can't jump forwards. So if you time travel backwards, there's no way back forward. You essentially just... I'm thinking of it kind of like a game save, where you jump backwards, and then you immediately, like, overwrite some of the data just from existing there. And because you did that, you have no way of going forwards except the normal way. At least, that's how my favorite stories go. But there's definitely other ways that you can approach time travel that are also interesting. It's hard to say which method is the correct form of time travel, considering most people, at least most scientists at this point, don't think time travel would actually be a thing for consideration. Though, if we're thinking about it, I think the only way you could technically time travel is with the aid of black holes, and that's just to speed time up. Like, slow time down for yourself while the world around you is going faster. I think that's technically the only possible way for time travel at the moment. But we're so far away from a black hole, there's no way to test that. Fun, you can approach time travel however you wish. Let's be honest here. It's more fun that way. Time travel is so freaking finicky, which can be both fun and frustrating. There's so many different approaches and ideas. Yes, Star Wars approaches it with the idea that as seen with the world between worlds. I don't think I've watched that one, so I don't think I know specifically what you're referencing for that. I think the idea of it, I maybe have been describing the concept of it without knowing the exact origin of how that specific time travel works. If it was already approached in the show, so then people are just continuing on with an already established idea. Star Wars Rebel One is really confusing because they tried to say it wasn't time travel, but kind of was at some point. Oh, lovely. I love when they do that. You know, if we're thinking about it, time travel can also be a bit of a horror genre as well. There was a comic that I was reading that explored the concept where essentially, because of the way space travel works, once you leave a spot, you can't go back. At least you can go back, but it won't be the same. You won't run into the same people, and the people that you knew will most likely be gone. I think the idea was explored in the Buzz Lightyear movie. The kind of time travel where you travel forward and you travel to a different place, but things don't specifically change. Thank you. But yes, please. I love that movie so much. I'm glad other people enjoy that movie because I think but I think they built it up to be this some grandiose thing, when in actuality it was probably very Star Wars-esque in terms of its execution and story structure, or at least complexity in the story structure for the first one. And they built it up so much in their head that they thought it was going to be some grand thing, like Marvel's Endgame or something like that. And why people were disappointed with it, because I thought it was good. Maybe not the most spectacular movie Pixar has created, but it was pretty darn decent. Yeah, I thought about that before. Space is not static. Things move and change much more than people think. Not only in terms of people in society, but also physical space. Yeah. Yeah, it was like, it's just like, it's a horror genre if you think about it, because I think it's been lightly explored in other movies too, where the more you move in space, the less you change, but the more the people around you change. They grow up, they live lives without you, and you're left behind. But you're still doing this mission. So then by the time you get back, there's no one left but yourself, or at least no one that you know. Which is the sadder form of time travel for me, so I like thinking of the opposite aspect of someone time traveling back and being able to fix the mistakes that they made. But that's the hopeful, wish fulfillment kind of time travel, probably not the most realistic kind. And we're kind of back to existential dread, full circle. I'm so sorry. I'm having fun though. Are you guys having fun? I love it so much. I'm so glad. Just actually touches on that a lot. Just not really in the big stuff. Leaving this galaxy is super dangerous because it's uncharted and goes off uncharted paths likely means death. Yeah, it does touch on that a bit, on space travel being scary. I think it also misses the aspects of time travel or space travel that would make it where it's less of a we just hop in the car and go, because that's what Star Wars feels like. They're just hopping in a car and going, and they'll eventually get to their time place, and it'll take them like at most a couple weeks. But in actuality, a grand universal war would span over the course of like a century or something like that. Just how slowly things move. It wouldn't be big quick fights. It would just be a slow crawling thing that would span across generations. Planets rotate on their axis and revolve in orbit around their stars. Stars move, and their solar system moves with them. Circular too again, and their galaxies swirling around supermassive black holes. Galaxies move. Yes! Unless one single guy happens to be in charge of basically in charge of both sides of the war. So true. Yeah, that really does speed things along. Though I do think even with one person controlling both sides of the war, it would still drag on for a while just based off of the sheer scale of which the war they were fighting. I understand they have their science magic that makes it where they can go to hyperspeed and get to speed real quick, but come on, let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. You would have to be moving faster than the speed of light, and even then, it'd still take you years to travel somewhere. You would like need wormholes or something. You know, it's been an hour and 40 minutes. Let's save real quick. That's fair, but at any point, Palpatine could have executed Order 66 and shut down the droids. The war ends whenever he wanted it to. Sure, but that wasn't really the war he was fighting. Sure, he was having a physical war, but he was trying to play a mental game. He needed to orchestrate a moment when the public was most readily able to turn against the Jedi. He needed a galaxy that was divided and a Senate that was backing him. So by the time he was ready to declare himself emperor, He needed everyone to be on board. That was the true war he was fighting. Not that silly droid game. That wasn't the war he was fighting. Well, that's the thing. It's faster than light travel, but it's also a lot of Yep, exactly. And that's where the rule of cool comes in. Where, yeah, you can be super specific and exact and scientific about your story, but then at the end of the day, you still have a story you want to tell. And is it the most realistic thing? No. But it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be something fun. He created a power vacuum in politics to be convincing the galaxy he was needed for security and Oh, I'm so sorry. I did mute myself, but I thought I unmuted myself again. I muted myself so I could blow my nose. You didn't need to hear that. So sorry. I was just talking. I was talking about how the politics are filled with great people with great ideas, but then also people with ideas. People who like to serve for many or serve for like one. Thank you for pointing out that my audio was not there. I was rambling on and had no idea none of you could hear me. Gaslight her into thinking the audio isn't back. I can see that my audio isn't back! What would the benefit of that even be? Shooting a problem that doesn't exist, and then you guys wouldn't see me work on an art project. So really, who's the one losing here? You can't convince. Oh, really? Is my audio cut out? You can't hear me? Really? You can't hear me? Hold on. Well, I guess if you can't hear me, I can eat the popcorn that I have. So glad you can't hear me right now. It would really suck if you heard me munching on popcorn. That would really suck. Don't worry. I can also dish it out. You guys got jokes, I've got them too. I haven't heard you laden with so much sarcasm before. It's easier to do when I have people bouncing off with me, so that's great. It really helps. I really appreciate that you guys are hanging out with me, including you, Tavy. Evie, yeah. I'm pretty sure you were supposed to go to bed. I'm glad that you're enjoying your time, though. I appreciate that you're willing to sacrifice your sleep schedule to hang out. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this illustration today, but I want to at least get the flats of everything done. Actually, I definitely am not going to be able to, because I haven't even drawn the people yet. I keep avoiding it, and that's not great. It's not really helping, you know, finishing the illustration. I keep doing all the small stuff, and not the big stuff. Because what if my small stuff gets covered by my big stuff? But I did all the small stuff first, so now I'm just suffering. There's a lot of things in space, astronomy, and astrophysics that I'd love to see more of, but yeah, it gets tricky when trying to connect it to real-world knowledge. Yeah. Some of it's like mind-bogglingly hard to wrap your head around, just in the sense of these concepts are so big, it almost feels too big. Reminding me of the Detroit Tigers. These are Tiger colors right here. There, I just disliked the concept of time traveling actually costing something to the people who were time traveling, that I didn't want to believe that time traveling would require a sacrifice to the person like space travel. I didn't want to accept that space travel had a cost to the person who was doing it, which made accepting the idea of time traveling taking time so much more hard to accept and conceptualize. This is your reminder to drink water. It's important to stay hydrated. Don't worry, my father was very kind and refilled my water glass for me, so I have been drinking water. Yeah, I need to be better about hydrating. My dad's like, oh yeah, I think it's so silly that people get those water bottles that have the little hour tick marks on them. And I'm like, hey Dad, guess what? This is the first time I'm drinking water today besides taking my medicine this morning. And that was just a mouthful of water. So now I have a dehydration headache. You think there's a reason why some people get those water bottles? Oh yeah, I was intending to be here for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but I have instead stayed for the almost entire course of the stream since I came in only at the 4-minute mark. It's now 2:30 a.m. I guess that goes to show how much I adore hanging out and chatting here. It's so much fun talking. Thank you. I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm also having a good time. We've had some pretty good topics of conversation today. Existential horror, time travel, space, a little bit of when it rains. Very good mixture, I would say. So I think these buildings in the back need to be a different color. So I think I'm gonna make this one red so it'll help the ice cream shop stand out more. Yeah, I usually don't drink water other than taking my meds too. I must really try and improve that if I wish to remain a functional human being. Yeah, it can be hard to remember sometimes, especially when apparently there's other thirst signs than just your mouth being dry. Because as far as I was aware, that was like the sign that you were thirsty is when your mouth was dry. But no, that's the sign you're dehydrated. So you're already past the point of being thirsty, and now you're trying to catch up rather than stay ahead. And I was trying to get my dad to explain it to me. I was like, what? Well, okay, what does the process of being thirsty entail? Like, what is being thirsty? Like, what other things do you feel? And he could not explain it to me. And I was like, this is not helpful. There's more subtle signs than my brain is paying attention to. I need some direction. You mean to tell me there's more steps than just the big warning one? Please? What is it? What is it? I would like to know. Okay. Got tents. Got plant life colored in. Almost all of the lamppost color in. What layer is that on? I do not know. Sir, please. What layer? Ah. Speaking of functional human being, I should probably actually go to bed now. Love being a responsible adult with very healthy sleep and hydration habits, if I had that. Fair enough, yes. You definitely should go to bed. It's late for you, and you probably have things you need to do in the morning, so this is your sign now. You can go to bed. It's okay. The stream will be up on the channel for you to catch the rest of if you are worried about missing anything, but I probably won't linger on for too much longer. I don't know, maybe I'll do another half an hour or so. Yeah, kidney stones do not sound delightful in the least, so that would be the idea. Avoid kidney stones. Maybe if I just Control grab, then I can find the layer that... There we go. Do not want kidney stones. That would not be good. I try at the very least to drink water with each of the meals that I have. That way I can guarantee that I've had at least some water throughout the day. Also, a good way to stay hydrated, even if it feels hard to deliberately drink water, is to just eat more hydrating meals. So having stuff like soup or fruit that are high in water content can help things along. Help get you more water in your diet. I've been having such a lovely time here. Thank you for providing so much wonderful space to talk about just about anything. And thank you for participating. I hope you have a good rest of your night, Taebi. I am still here. I've been doing something. I sent you a little video of what I've been doing on Discord. I did see that, but since I'm working on something, I wasn't gonna look at it until later. But if you wanted to just talk about what you're working on here, you can feel free to do so. I imagine it's something pretty time consuming considering we've been, I don't know, going for about an hour now. Well, 2 hours now, and you've been working on it for at least an hour and a half. Bye. Well, apologies for flashing the things. Sometimes I need to find what layer I'm supposed to be existing on. It's lights. Oh, how fun. Oh. Is it lights for your bedroom? Why do these chopsticks look worse than usual? If you're curious on what I mean by chopsticks, I like to eat snacks with chopsticks when I'm working on something, because that allows me to keep my hands mess free and still be able to enjoy the snack. Around my bed frame, but I've had to unravel it from the box it was stuck on. Ah, yeah. That sucks. I know how that is, because you wrap up something with the intent of it being good and nice, and then all of the little lights get stuck on each other. So if you don't do it properly from the way it was wrapped, then you're just tangling it up further, and oh my goodness, that is so annoying to get undone. I would start doing that, but that would require learning how to use chopsticks, though. Do not need greasy fingies, but so the fun thing about learning how to use chopsticks, one, you know it's kind of like a jaw, if that makes sense. So if you're holding a pair of chopsticks, one side isn't supposed to move. It's just supposed to be, so it's kind of like the jaw, but opposite. So the top chopstick is the one that moves, and the bottom one is the one that just stays in place. So it's supposed to be the stabilizing factor. So then with snacks, because they're harder, they have less give than something like rice. So then it's easier to grab with chopsticks. At least I think so. Popcorn especially, because they have a bunch of like crevices. So then there's more areas for the chopsticks to catch on. But essentially, you hold the could I draw a diagram? I could draw a diagram. Hold on. We'll draw a diagram. Don't worry, I didn't erase the drawing. I just put something in the front of it. Okay. Let me just hold the chopsticks real quick. And it really depends on the person on how far up or away they hold the chopsticks. So both of them hang out behind the fingers. You have to let me know if this is helping or not. Okay, so we'll color code these. The red chopstick stays in place, and the green one moves up and down. See if I can use the lasso tool to transform tool this. Draw, can I just say, how the frick did you do that in like 10 seconds? I told you guys, I have a lot of practice with gesture drawings. Okay. So then the top one moves with your pointer finger. So you hold it in place with your pointer finger. The pointer finger is sitting about on top of the chopstick, and you can wiggle it back and forth using your thumb as a pivot point. Does that make sense? I will just group this, hide it, and continue working on their other illustration. Back to our regularly scheduled program. After our brief intermission on how chopsticks work. And like anything, I'm glad. Like anything, it takes time to practice. You hold it about the same way you're technically supposed to hold a pencil, with your thumb sitting in the middle. I feel like my dad flavored this popcorn slightly differently. Kinda tastes like there's black pepper on it. And maybe some of the vegetable seasoning powder. But I don't think we have the vegetable seasoning powder. Water, and then back to the car. Just need to make sure I'm on the correct layer before I actually start drawing, because that would suck if I was on the wrong one. Fun. Why work on the thing I'm supposed to be working on when we can go on a tangent and I can do a quick little doodle. I'm just practicing with 2 pencils. Hey, that's a pretty good thing to practice with. Slightly different just because pencils are a bit thicker and don't have a tapered end, but not a terrible way to practice. If you had some knitting needles or some paintbrushes, that may also work. You like getting Chinese food or Japanese food, or I don't know, I think a decent amount of East Asian cuisine offers those wooden chopsticks. You could always take one of those if you want to practice with them. Ours powdery blue so that it will look really white in the sunlight. Oh, also, you look really good today. Oh, thank you. How did you know I was having a good curl day? No, seriously, how did you know? Are you at my house? You're not supposed to be here. It's slightly concerning. You know, I've been getting back into the Spider-Verse fandom recently. It's so funny. I'm like searching for specific stories and I was thinking, oh, it's been a couple years since the movies came out. I'll be able to find them. No. Sometimes the stories you want to find are the stories you have to write yourself. Not that I'm gonna start another project. That's not happening. But it's just sad when you want a specific story, and the only way you're gonna get it is if you write it yourself, and you don't have time to write it yourself as much as you would love to. Too many other writing projects to start another one, sadly. I finished my Pearlescent Moon cosplay I was telling you about last stream, I think. Ooh! Very nice. I'm glad. I hope it turned out good. I have full faith that it did. Because I know I have the best eyes. I can see through the earth. You know? That's something Striking would say. You would also say something like that. You two better not be teaming up on me. I don't know what I would do with myself if you were doing that. Roxanne Wolf Eyes. No, please. I don't want to be that perceived. I just want to be perceived visually through the stuff I make. You don't need to perceive me. I don't know where Striking went. Okay, so he has been working on some new things. Like right now he's doing stuff on Twitch, but I can't tell you where to find it because he won't even tell me because he's streaming under a different name. He's doing a voice changer and whatnot. So I don't know what exactly it is he's doing. He'll tell me about it sometimes, but like, I don't have all of the details. I just know that he's been streaming on a different platform and having fun with that. So, I don't know. If you want to try and stalk Twitch and see if you can find him, that's up to you. But he's under a different name, and he's using a voice changer, and yeah, there's a couple things that will make it hard for you to actually find what he's doing. But I think he was taking a break from the striking account because he was having a hard time getting the audience that he wanted from his live streams on YouTube. It seemed like he was having more success on Twitch, which I'm glad about. Wish he would tell me what it was, but you know, I guess he can have his privacy. I guess. Your style is very comforting to the eyes since it's so whimsical and yet real. How lovely. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. We've been working on this illustration for a couple weeks now. I would say I've put about 14 hours into this so far. I normally don't spend this long on illustrations, but I can't say it's not satisfying. But I'm not the happiest with how this car is turning out. Okay, so see, here's the thing. I could continue working with these cars, and it would be fine. Or I could, in my own time, make some 3D models of them and retrace them over. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should take a step back and actually do it properly, considering I'm not the best at drawing cars to begin with, and drawing them in perspective is certainly also not a thing that I do all the time. Yeah, it might be better for me to remodel these, because I'm working off of a cube, and cars are not cubes. Okay. Okay, so if we're not working on the cars, what else should we work on? Well, there's people. And I could also add details to the book front. How are we doing in terms of viewers? Decent amount of people. All right. We'll continue going then. I'm gonna pause real quick for some popcorn, and then we'll continue at it. I might need to change the color of the trees. They're blending in with the path. Like, the leaves themselves are not, but the tree trunks are. The popcorn's not allowed to escape. Not allowed. Alright. A little bit of popcorn. Some water. And well, I could add the sign for the bookshop. That could be fun. I think I have to do that with the lasso tool just so I can make it really clean. This I already technically have the design for. It's essentially just a book with open pages. And a gap on the inside so you can actually tell that the pages are open. I need to move that. I know the selection area is empty. I just want to. Dang it. Is it so much to. There we go. I just want it to move the selection. You guys can see the selection that I'm making. That's one of the downsides to me working in a separate window from the actual workspace. You guys can't see when I'm doing something very specific. I'm thinking a library. Not library, bookshop would have a decent amount of flyers up in their window. Oh, speaking of books and writing and comics and whatnot, I have this idea for the next art fight. I'm not sure if I will have the time to be able to do it, but I think it would be fun to gather a whole bunch of characters that are based around the Spider-Verse and make a comic that features my Spider OC and other people's Spider OC, and I have all of those things just mixed together into a big comic format, like a continuous comic that has, I don't know, maybe 10 pages? I don't know if 10 pages is too much or too little, but I think that would be fun. For unique ideas on how to approach art fight. Not that you necessarily have to be unique with your approach to it. I think it's fun to push the bounds of the competition. Yes, art fight mentioned. I drew Bean in the window. Continuous art fight attacks could be enjoyable to see. I wonder if you could want to make them fight in portfolios or try and do whole collages. I think I would want to do full comic spreads. I think that would be the best form for it. Having whole spreads dedicated like just full-on graphic novel-esque things for this continuous story. I saw let me see if I could do this. It might be something I need to do. I need to draw more lines for this? I might need to draw more lines for this. But let's draw it on top first, see if we like that. But I saw in some background art someone drawing some flyers and whatnot on light poles. And, you know, to stay on theme for today's topics, I was thinking the storyline could be vaguely time-related. How yet? I would need to relook at my potential chosen villain character to see if I could see if time travel is an actual viable storyline. I think that would be fun. Again, though, I'd have to make sure I'm not too busy. Else I'll probably just do art fight normally. Not that I would want to create any work before the event, because that kind of ruins the spirit of it. But I'm wondering if it would be against the rules to do just a little bit of planning beforehand. Get characters organized, some basic story structure written out. Maybe practice drawing the characters slightly before I really get into it. Not submit the sketches, of course, but just get a feel for how the characters move and interact. I don't know. There's like a line between which you can push it and how much you're breaking the spirit of the game. I'll have to relook at the rules to see what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. How many things on light poles is too many things on light poles? Do I know what are on these posters? I do not. However, there is a lot of them. Doing tiny detail things again. I really should sketch out these characters. Idea. An art fight piece, but it's Where's Waldo-esque illustration. Wouldn't that be so silly? Oh, that would be so chaotic. I think the hardest thing at that point wouldn't even be drawing the characters. It would be finding all the freaking characters. I wonder what people's reaction to... I feel like that would be a top contender. Like something that would show up on the front page kind of illustration just because of how enormous that would be. That's a lot. Alright. I think I have one more thing until I technically have all of the flats in. This is long glare. I just know it. We can add in the bike rack colors, which shouldn't be too hard. Do I have time to sketch out the people walking around? I could at least do Lena. Have her crossing the street. Stealing my popcorn? How dare you? I will add a little bit of a film on top so that way as I'm sketching the characters, the background is not getting distracting. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so previous illustration, Lena was crossing the street. So I'll have her doing that again. I need some people poses. People running. That seems like as good a pose as any. Are you streaming somewhere else? I am not. If you're curious who I was talking to, that was my father. He was stealing my popcorn. Is that why you asked if I was streaming somewhere else? I'll let him know you guys said hi. He is currently in a different room. So I think I'm gonna draw perspective boxes first where I want people. That way I can better figure out where they're supposed to be. I think after I sketch in some people, I will call it for a night. My art fight name? I think it still should be under Alyssa's creations, but let me see if it's different. Might be Snow Bunny. This might take a bit more effort than I thought it was going to take. Hold on. Let me log in. The ecosystem's so nice for Apple until you know. It is Snow Bunny 22. My gosh, that's a long password. Of course it is. Not that I need to sign in anymore. I was able to give you my... I could go the extra mile and give you the actual profile link. If I can sign in properly. There we go. Oh hey, I got 2 notifications. Aw, someone's following me. Nice. Let me grab this profile and then I can put it in the chat. There you go. Alright, be back soon, Crow. We'll miss you. You'll be gone for so long. I could have some people hanging out at the ice cream shop. They are a bit tall. Let's make them a bit shorter. Have some people sitting on the stairs. Being a general nuisance to society. Have some people walking in the park / running. Definitely could have some joggers in there. I'm following you now in art fight. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely have things planned, so you can tag me if you want. I'll definitely recuperate I'll definitely get some revenges, as any good art fight should. If you have a spider person, send them my way. I am planning spider comic. You know what? I'm having Tiny Girl join in on the run. She's absolutely killing it. barking dog. Someone walking their dog down the street. Someone's definitely on a phone, having a phone call conversation. If you have any other ideas of things people could be doing on the street, definitely let me know. I can add them in. A mime? We're not in France! I don't have a spider person, sadly, but I've been kind of wanting to make one. Well, you have a couple months, so you have plenty of time. Maybe not infinite time, but you have plenty of time to come up with one if you want to. What you do it? I don't think I heard half of that. Oh, I see. I see. That doesn't answer the question of what you're doing. Ah. Oh, great idea. We can definitely have a kid climbing, or at least attempting to climb the tree. We could have one kid like hanging over. And then another kid attempting to climb it. Doing the absolute best just because they're tiny. Yeah, this scene's definitely going to be much better once I add a bunch of people. This one right here is gonna be Lena. She's gonna be running across the street. Wearing her sweater. Of course, her overalls. Scale overall is better now. Because I think before I was trying to make things more visible in terms of just characters. So I sacrificed some of the scale for it, and I think that was a mistake. Okay, so I think we have done a fantastic job this time around. Do we have everything all finished? No, but we've gotten closer. And I think that's great. So our focus next time will be working on all of the people who are interacting and living in this city. And some of the smaller details with the sidewalk and some other things. I might work on this a little bit off stream just for the cars, make those look better. Yeah, I think those could look better. But today was productive in yapping. Drawing was definitely a plus. It was. Okay, I will be back next week, same time, ideally, and hopefully we can finish this. Welcome back, Crow. We are just ending the stream. So sorry. We will be streaming again next week at 8:30 p.m. And until then, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day and a good week. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye!